Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Bottom Line. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil. Our show is brought to you by Vouri. If you want a brand that feels as good as it looks, this is for you. Their performance joggers are as silky smooth as butter, and once you have one pair, you're going to want them in every color. Make sure to check out our description below for 20% off of your first purchase. On today's episode, we have Adrian Bozman, the competition director of the CrossFit Games, and Patrick Clark here to chat about what we can expect this year in Madison. Adrian, you basically just landed there. How's it been so far?
It's been great. It's smooth sailing with my personal travel, which is always nice. That's like the first check mark on the list. So yeah, good to be here. Good to kind of get my feet under me. Today is very much a set up your hotel room as your command center, and then tomorrow we're in running.
So did you
You've
bring
been
like
a
a bunch
busy
of white?
man.
Did you bring like chalkboards and whiteboards? Is it all around the hotel room yet?
Not quite, but I mean, I do have quite a few little portable whiteboards. There's lots of things to sketch up all the time. So yes, just not major. Yeah, we
Are
have
any of them set up yet?
no, not really. I mean, I got a couple here. Yeah, I got like one of these.
Oh, it's
And then
blank.
I have a
Where's
Yeah,
all
I
the
know.
programming?
It's no fun,
That's why
right?
we had
Yeah.
you on
It was
here.
Oh, yeah.
You've been busy though. You've been making your rounds to plenty of podcasts. I don't think I've listened to you or seen you as much as I have in the past week or so.
It's the run up to the games. I mean, it's busy time for everybody, like lots of things coming to a head. And I'm happy to promote the event. I think that the more eyeballs we can get on the athletes, the better. Those guys work hard all year. And we very much want people to understand the amount of work that they put in and what they're able to showcase. I think it's lost sometimes on people when they see some of the feats that these athletes are out there doing. It's like, oh yeah, it's just innate. It's like, no, that's years and hours of their life that goes into that. And so, if I can do my small part to promote that and get people watching them and recognizing their efforts, then hey, I'm all for it.
So to state the obvious, I mean, you have a very different position at the games this year, but what is it going to be like transitioning from the head judge to now the programmer?
It's a great question. I don't know yet. I haven't done it this way before. So, there's some question marks just as far as how things are going to happen when we start to execute the games. And I'll say it's really not radically different. I mean, I've definitely had my hands across a lot in the games in the past. Certainly I think from the public looking in, my most obvious role was head judge, but that's not to say that that was confined to one small domain. So yeah, definitely going to be a little bit different. Definitely a lot more pressure as far as the breadth of my role,
Mhm.
but not one that I am totally unprepared for. That's a bad way to phrase it, but yeah, I mean, I've done aspects of this for a long time. Had the pleasure of working with Dave for so long. Working closely with him, and yeah, I think our team is set up for success as much as we possibly can be at this point. So pretty excited to see it all go.
Boz, you mentioned a team, and obviously you stepping away from head judge. Who's assuming those responsibilities for this year?
So this year we're going to slide over Chuck Carswell. He's been head for the teams for a long time, ages and ages now. So he's going to step into the role for head judge for the individuals, and Todd Woodman will take over the head judging on teams. He's worked with Chuck for years in that role, and so he'll step up into the lead in that division.
And then the head judges for the masters and age groups will stay the same.
Yes. So age groups are going to be Eric O'Connor and Eric Preston returning again. They've got a couple other people behind them that are very experienced, seasoned members of our judging staff. So Becky Harsh will be helping them out. Lindsay Andrew, Jenny Orr, a lot of familiar faces there. And then we've got Alex Zirkenbach and Kevin Ogar returning for the adaptive divisions.
Awesome.
When
Yep.
programming the games, I mean, that is such a huge undertaking. We know in the past that Dave did have some help from other people, like Pat Sherwood and others. I'm curious, did you have help from other people? Did you program all the divisions? Like, how did that work, and who did you work with?
Well, nothing in the games happens in a vacuum. I mean, there's nothing that's like the product of just one single person, but it is my role and my responsibility to put together all of the big picture programming. So I programmed the first pass for individuals, teams, age groupers. this year. And then, part of my job is to take it to the team and say, tell me why it sucks. Tell me what we could be doing better. Tell me why this could be cooler. Tell me why this could be a more legit test. And that was exactly the process. So I took the first crack at everything. That was the big job for me, particularly coming out of the earlier stages in the season. And then it was, all right, take it to the team, put it through the fire with them. Once we get back from, or once we had that feedback, then it was kind of, back to the drawing board, take a few notes here and there, make some tweaks. Great. And then we do the same thing with the athletes that we tested with early in our testing week. So, okay, we've got the tweaks in. Let's take it past those guys. Same spiel. Tell me why it sucks. Let's make it better. It's got to be awesome for everybody involved. It's got to be, of course, a legit test, but it's also got to be something that the athletes are really excited to do and that they come away from saying, yeah, that was legit.
You mentioned that it went through like other people. Do you mind telling us who was Justin Berg some of those people, or was it who were some of these other people that you just pass information on to get feedback from?
Yeah, so Justin to some degree, although not a lot, he's kind of later stage, to be honest. We mostly through all stages of the season, so people that have been longtime games contributors and employees. So Dave Eubanks, Curtis Bowler, Angel Forbes, Lucas Zepeda. There's a list there that's pretty tight knit and involved in those stages of the season, all the way through from open to the games. So they're kind of the core nucleus that they get first blush at a lot of things, and then we kind of expand from there to a couple other select people.
So you still
go
ahead, PC.
Oh, well, I guess part of that is having athletes, and like I said, you brought in some athletes prior to the announcement of the demo team. But how much of that feedback from the demo team, even the prior demo team, like the ones coming in trying out the workouts like prior, how much of that do you take in consideration? How much of that actually plays into major changes, or if you have to change some of these workouts?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah. I mean, their experience is a big part of it, because it's really difficult to translate something and get a hole-in-one with, all right, I wrote this on paper and it executed exactly the way that I thought it would, in exactly the time frame, with exactly the kind of fatigue built into the places that I would expect. You can get pretty close, and I'm pretty meticulous about, I look at past performances, I look at times, I look at transitions, I look at what it takes to complete an event that I think is pretty well crafted on paper, but you still have to put it to the test to see what that is. So their experience is huge. And I think what people can't take away is that just because their experience might be different than what was expected, that we automatically adopt that feedback. That's not the case either. So you have to kind of weigh it both ways. The athlete experience in the testing process is really important, but sometimes a vision to say, no, you know what, this is right the way it is. And these athletes, I appreciate their feedback, but we're going to stick to our guns and go for it. So there's a bit of give and take there with that process. And I think that's true for anybody that's steeped in a culture of feedback. You have to be willing to do both. You have to be willing to say, okay, I hear this feedback and it makes sense and it totally applies, and or this doesn't apply so much, and we've got to see it through.
So speaking of the demo team, we recently saw that Royce Dunne will no longer be on the demo team. He can't travel to the US because he's unvaccinated. I was speaking with him actually earlier today, and he said that he did think there was another athlete that was going to replace him. Can you guys tell us who that is, who we can expect to see replaced on the demo team?
I'm not going to let the cat out of the bag, but we'll announce it very soon. We just want to make sure that everybody's all got their ducks in a row. But we had known that there was a risk for Royce not making it into the country when we had asked him. And, some of the people on our team were like, hey, we're not sure. We're not confident that he's going to be able to make it. What should we do? And I said, we should roll the dice. Let's see if we can get him in. He's the right guy for the job. Let's see if we can do it. And at the same time, we reached out to our other athlete and said, look, we have an athlete that we're asking to be a part of this. If he can't make it, would you be willing to step in on short notice? And this athlete was like, of course I would. Absolutely. So, and it's a great situation because there's so many good athletes that fit fit the bill. It's kind of like, I don't know, throwing away $100 bill and then finding a ruby in your sock drawer. You know what I mean? Like it's,
Ooh, yeah.
you certainly, there's no second stringer here, if that's in anybody's mind. We're totally stoked to have who we've got in the wings, and it's going to be a great time. So looking forward
Well, and
to the
I'm
demo team
curious.
being at full strength.
Yeah, and with that demo team, I mean, we look at the people who are on it each year, and it seems like you want to create this diverse team that can test a heavy gymnastics workout, a heavy barbell workout, maybe some unknown elements. And I feel like Royce kind of fit the bill for testing maybe some of the strength workouts.
No,
So,
Lauren, you're digging. You're digging. Lauren's digging.
what
so
gave that
are
away?
we
What's
seeing?
the,
I mean, I don't know. Are
I'm
we
sure there'll be some
expecting
people that
somebody similar to fit that bill?
I'm sure that there are some people out there that'll put it together and they'll be like, that was totally my pick. And great. I mean, the demo team in the scheme of things isn't the most top secret of all top secret. But
Yeah.
like I said, I do want to make sure that I follow the protocol that our team has put out there. And you just have to wait and find out. But I think everybody's going to be super stoked. Yeah, it's going to be good.
Okay, I wanted to pry a little bit, but
Yeah,
I
fair enough.
respect I
Gotta do
respect
it.
your response. When it comes to the games, and I mean, there have been so many conversations around judging this year. Do you plan to execute anything differently based on the conversation around judging this year? Or what exactly is like, can you give us an inside look to behind the curtain of what that looks like and how you can make sure that the games has integrity when it comes to judging?
I mean, I don't know quite how to answer that question. I think that's one of those things that people love to throw stones from glass houses. I think that's also one of those things where a lot of people love to throw stones with not a lot of experience on the back end of actually having to run a large competition. And so, is there anything radically different this year? No, it's going to be the same that we have executed in the past, where there's going to be a lot of rehearsal leading up. There's going to be a lot of people with experience on the floor. Yes, it's going to be a pressure situation, but that's the job that they signed up for, and that's going to be good. I think any live competition, if you're expecting an automaton out there that just doesn't make calls that are uncontroversial from time to time, you don't know sports. That's the nature of the game.
Fair.
Particularly in a sport like ours that is so dynamic and has so many different demands of the officials. I think about it, man. Think about a sport like weightlifting or powerlifting, where you have one lift that is being done under the guise or under the visibility of 3 judges, and even in those circumstances, single rep, total focus, nothing else obscuring it, and you still have disagreements on white and red lights in federations like that. And so, if you are of the approach that there isn't going to be some variability, and that variability is automatically detrimental to the sport, I think you're just looking in the wrong spot. And frankly, probably looking to drum up some drama that is taking the focal point off of the more important things. That being said, I mean, are there bad judgment calls that are made from time to time? Yes. Do we work to eliminate those? Of course. Do I think this topic at this stage in the season warrants as much attention as it's given? No.
You want to see it die with the drama.
No, I don't want to see it die. I just want people to look at it eyes open and understand the nature of it, and focus on athlete performances instead. Yeah.
Yeah. If you need me, I'll bring my stopwatch.
Well, and that's the thing too, right?
PC's an experienced judge out there.
No, but hey, to that point, man, the most diehard critics out there, great. I'm glad to see them out on the field showing us all how it's supposed to be done, right?
Yeah.
Oh, wait, you don't see
Absolutely.
that. So, yeah.
Is that a standing offer to those diehard critics then?
I mean, I doubt that any of them would want to take us up on it anyway. So, if they want to go through the ranks and spend the time, which is years,
Yes.
to, judge things online in an official capacity, show up to competitions, prove themselves that they're worthy, and that they can, be put through those pressure cooker situations, then sure, maybe. But is it
Sure,
carte
and
blanche? No, you got to earn it like everybody else does.
Yeah, and we don't mean to give you a hard time about it. It's just a topic that so many people, for whatever reason this year, have been so interested in. So like anything that we can get behind the curtain, but everything you said makes perfect sense. And PC, you know how difficult it is to be a judge. You and I have talked about it so many times. It's not
Yeah,
easy.
it's not. So it's easier, like you again, it's easier to throw stones in glass houses, right? So, um, Boz, so this new role of yours, what have you enjoyed the most out of being this, you know, in this new role? What has been simply like something that, man, this I wake up every morning and I love this part of the job.
Oh, that's a good question. I would say just the creative freedom around it. Like it's really fun to think big and to
Mhm.
think, okay, what is the most far out thing that we can do that's still within the realm of legitimacy? What is the biggest, most epic event that we could pull off? What is the thing that's going to showcase the abilities of these athletes to the fullest extent? Um, and kind of, it's not carte blanche because we live in a world where there are restrictions. You can't do anything for many reasons. But having that kind of creative vision and being just allowed to kind of run roughshod with it, I think is really fun. So that's been great. And thinking that through, not just to, this event that we have in front of us in the immediate sense, but okay, there's some things next season that are already apparent as to what could be really cool to start to touch on at all stages, open all the way through to the games. So yeah, it's just kind of getting those ideas generated and seeing how they build on themselves has been a blast.
So do you think heading into it, you think you've accomplished those things?
I think so, but it's not for me to decide. That's for the
Right.
athletes and the fans and the viewers to decide. That's you can't get high on your own supply, right? That's not going to help out anybody. So
Yeah.
I think that I've done my homework. I think that we have a really, really awesome show set up for people. I'm super excited about it. But at the end of the day, it's the community, it's the athletes, it's the fans. They should make that decision as to whether it was the right test.
Well, conversely, on the other side, then, what have you enjoyed the least?
It's been stressful. I mean, I have not enjoyed, it's just a few things like the immediacy of switching gears kind of midstream. That's very difficult. Early in the year, like I don't, none of us expected to be in the position where we're going to have to be shuffling things around with such a quick turnaround, with so many plans already in place. So that was very difficult. And kind of the unknown of it has been hard. Like I still don't know how it's going to go. Like again, best laid plans. We feel really confident going into it, but at the end of the day, it's not done yet. So the unknown element is very stressful. And yeah, I guess the other end of that is like, I'm not Dave. I'm not trying to be Dave. I think some people want me to be Dave. I'm not.
Mhm.
Um, and there's certain things that are going to be done in ways that are different because of that. You know what I mean? And so I think sometimes people get locked into looking at things one way because that's what they've known, um, and it just can't be that way anymore. Because we have a different run of cards. I guess the hand's been dealt differently, so it's going to be different.
So you kind of alluded to already having some ideas for next year. Is that just
Oh yeah.
through different, like, things that went wrong or just planning we haven't had enough time to do and you're like, "Okay, if we start this as soon as the games are done, we can plan for next season." Like, give us a little bit more insight to that.
No, mostly has to do with you can't do everything that you always want to do. And so, for example, there's the games is a huge ranging event. You've got a ton of different tests that you can do. I mean, if you look historically at the games, we've done as few as 3 in the early years, all the way up to a max of 15 that we did last year. It's a pretty big range. So there's plenty of freedom to do a lot of stuff. But at the end of the day, you can't do everything. And I mean, you take a look at anybody who programs long term, and it's like, all right, you've got a year. How many workouts can you come up with within that span of time that were really, really great? It's probably a fair number of them. And so to whittle that down to, 10 or a dozen or whatever, there's always going to be some things on the table that you wish you could have done, but it just didn't fit this year. And so you kind of shelve that idea and you bake it a little bit longer until the right time comes around. And, hopefully some of that can show up next year.
Okay, so Adrian, we're going to pretend that it's Christmas Eve right now.
Ha.
PC and I are the children. We're like,
Okay.
Dad, come on, like give us a hint to what is wrapped under the tree. And you're like, okay, Lauren, PC, here's the gift that you can shake to try to guess what's in it. If we're
Well,
shaking the pool of events.
if you're shaking the tree of events, you're shaking the present of events. What can you expect? Well, I mean, I've said this before, but I think it is worth saying again. All divisions are going to get their hands on some of the specialty equipment this year, which is really cool. So, in years past, that's been kind of the domain of the individuals, sometimes the teams, but this year age groupers are going to get some of that special treatment too. So that's cool. Probably saw the teaser, teams on bikes. So that's the first time ever we've done that. So that'll be really cool. I know some teams are already very excited about that. Some teams not so excited. So, so that'll be fun. There's an event that everybody's going to do, and very shortly we're going to let the some details about that out. So in the next couple of days, you guys can be ready for that. The all division test is going to be a little more formed in the next what day is it? Thursday. So I think it's slated Saturday that we'll have some more details out about that. Saturday is going to be a big day for everybody. So Saturday is going to be really cool. Saturday
is the heavy lift day, right?
That's right. You guys saw that promo?
Of course.
Oh, yeah.
Are individuals going to be on the bikes as well?
I cannot confirm or deny, but the teams are riding. So that's the fun part.
Okay, I'm trying to think like what else I can just like chop at the bit at.
Yeah.
No, but I mean, all of this information, it's just an exciting time of year because we're all excited to go to the games. PC and I will be in Madison. The athletes are going to be in Madison. It's all an exciting time of year, and we can't wait to see. What would you say is your bottom line of programming the CrossFit Games this year, Adrian?
Bottom line is that it's going to be a lot of fun. I think it's going to make some athletes reevaluate certain things that they focus on. I think it's going to make some coaches reevaluate what they put a primacy on. And I think that the games, like you guys mentioned, it's a reunion. It's a chance for our community to get together and celebrate this thing that we all do. And we get to live that kind of by proxy through these athletes and their amazing abilities. So can't wait to see everybody out there. And I sincerely hope that the community enjoys this year's events. I think it's going to be awesome. So can't wait to show you guys what we have in store.
Adrian, thank you so much for your time. PC, thanks for hanging out with us, asking all of these good questions. You gave us a little bit of things to think about, but we're going to be watching closely as all the details are released.
Right on. Thank you, guys.